Yeah, we back. Turn it up just a little.
Good day, everybody. My name is Red Earth, and today we are trying out a list I cooked up last night. It's a little inspired based on both what other people have been doing and something I saw Aspiring Spike try in Modern. They brought up the idea that you can cheat a Quantum Riddler into play on turn 2, and I've yet to do it in testing, but who knows, maybe today I'll get lucky and assemble Tron. So I'll go from the list bottom to top, and we'll talk about what I've got in here. So we've got 4 Daydream. This is the marquee card of the deck, which allows us to cheat our warp units and keep them around. It also allows us to flicker cards with flashback, although that's pretty expensive. I mean, this deck has 21 lands and 4 drums, so that's not going to be happening that often. But you never know. You also get to trigger a couple ETBs, so there is some value there. The next card I have here is Elite Interceptor. This guy's a what's it called? Novice Inspector. There's a few comments like this, which basically lets you sacrifice a clue, and draw a card. Although this one lets you tap or untap, and tapping can be quite useful actually, especially if you're trying to kill somebody with Riddler. You can also do stuff like on turn 2, you can play down a Springleaf Drum and then tap the Elite Interceptor to make mana, then untap itself to draw a card, so you can at least accelerate your mana in that aspect while getting a cantrip. We've got 4 Erode as our interaction. We've got 3 Lightstall and Inquisitor to allow us to continue the early game pressure. The goal is to put down a lot of stuff early game and try to pop the opponent and go under, because this is a heavy control meta. And so anything we can do to apply pressure quickly is where I'm trying to take this deck. We've got 4 Springleaf Drum. If you're not familiar with this one, you can tap an untapped creature you control to add 1 mana of any color. So it doesn't quite generate mana on its own, but it does with a little help if you have extra creatures, which is what these early game creatures are for. Got 4 Voice of Victory. It's an alright creature in its own right because it can deal 3. But the biggest thing is that it shuts out opponents' counter spells, which allows us to do whatever we're doing completely for free. It also lets us do Riddler Daydream on the following turn, assuming it survives. On turn 3, I have 2 Diversion units. I'm just trying these guys out. In fact, Diversion Unit and Lightstall, these are pretty late additions to the deck, but I'm trying various things out. I had Cosmogrand Zenith, or whatever the hell his name is. Cosmo, let me see. Cosmo. Yeah, Cosmogrand Zenith. The one where you cast a second spell where you make some tokens and put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. I found it was actually too slow for what this deck was trying to do. There was a few times where I could stall out opposing unanswered Boyds, but that's about it. That was the only time it was super useful. But anyways, so we got Diversion Unit, and this is a flying creature which gives us a main decked way to counter spells while still being a creature to allow us to apply pressure. Did I talk about Lightstall Inquisitor? I did for applying pressure, but what I didn't mention is that it also makes opponents' lands come into play tapped and exiles cards from their hand, so there's some utility there too. Quantum Riddler, this card you'll be very familiar with. Warp for 2, cantrip. What this card also allows us to do is mulligan pretty aggressively, which is nice. And if we get the Tron Dream of a blue source, Daydream, Springleaf Drum, Riddler, maybe someday we'll have our turn 2 5/7 flyer that's drawn us 2 cards. We'll see. We've got 3 Halia Guided by Light. I'm not sure if 3 or 4 is the correct amount to play with, but we've got lots of cheap creatures to trigger this. We can also flicker it with the Drum and Daydream on turn 2 to get a 4/4 that also draws us a card. Not as exciting as Riddler, but it's not nothing. And it draws us cards off of Voice of Victory whenever it attacks, and I put anything else into play. Then I've got Starfield Shepherd, which can also come out on turn 2. This will help fetch either planes, which we got a decent amount of, or gets us our 1-drops like Lightstall, Inquisitor, and Interceptor, either or. I'm not sure which is better to go grab. I have a feeling it's the Interceptor because continuing to draw cards allows us to maintain our pressure. And then the last thing I have in the deck is Practiced Offense. What I found the other week in the monthly is that I was positively terrified of anybody having board presence and playing multiples of these, and that maintains true now. So against anybody without Wrath of God effects, this will threaten to destroy them. And if they do, then if I have a way to disrupt it, it can finish them off. If I can, like, stimmy the Wrath of God, Day of Judgment, then I can randomly, like, hit this for up to 5 or 6 and hit them for 12 damage plus any of the other tertiary damage. You'll notice the lands, the mana base sucks. There's no getting around that. We've got 4 shock lands. We've got 2 gain life lands. Maybe I could put more, but I really don't want lands coming into play tapped. And there is no untapped duels in this color pair. I also don't have any villages. And what was the white one? Dovahkiin Encampment, I think. Let me take a quick look at that. Is this worth playing? Swamp or Mountain? No, I don't want coming to play with tapped lands. I really need to apply the pressure I've got. So yeah, this is the mana base. I'm very, very white based. Only a small amount of blue. The sideboard, however, I've got plenty of blue, so I have to keep my blue count up relatively. Against control decks, I pretty much don't care about eroding because they play their threats late. So I've got 4 Spell Pierce, and this will allow me to keep my pressure up. We've got some Soul Guide Lanterns for graveyard decks. I've got a pair of diversion units in here to up the number if my opponent's doing some heavy non-instants and sorceries type of strategy that I need to keep contained while applying board pressure. I'm trying out Tam Mindful First Year. This card's cute in the aspect that it could be a Mother of Runes kind of when it comes to hexproof. But if people are using either bounce spells or erode, Tam will just randomly shut those off because it gives creatures hexproof equal to the color that it is. And then the last card I got featured is Glenelendra Guardian. This is just another way to pressure control. So I've got lots of sideboard against control because it's a heavy control meta. I've got 4 roads to help me deal with Boyd, and if I can't deal with Boyd, I'm probably just dead, so I'm just trying to fly over and kill those decks that way. And yeah, that's pretty much the deck. So I don't have a lot of faith in the consistency of this deck. This deck certainly needs a lot more tuning. And to work out the cards with it, but yeah, this is what I've got cooked up for this week. So I hope you guys enjoy watching. Hopefully we get some cool games, and otherwise I'll see you guys in the next round. Cheers. All right, welcome to round 1. This hand looks horrendous. This hand isn't amazing, but it's not, like, unplayable. Very far from Tronning, though. Do I mulligan again? I think I'll just keep this. For now. Ugh. Looks like they're playing a control deck. I think I played them last week with this deck box, but I don't remember what they're on. My seams have been ripped. Okay. That's not nothing. Nice deck. Thanks, I guess. Oh, are they doing something similar? They are doing something similar. Oh, they're doing the exact same thing. Well, not exciting. It's quite strong. Thanks. Hell yeah. Sage of the Skies. Ah, yes. This is the list that they're on. Let me see here. How is it that I want to pump through this? I think I'll just flicker that with the Daydream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in now. Pop. Still going to flicker it with the Daydream. Play Light Stall. That's with a card in their hand. They want 5 mana. Getting double strike. Good lord. Let me see here. So I can hit this, lifelink myself up, play Interceptor, untap it. We'll try that as a play, I guess. Interceptor. Offense. Target myself. Target this bad boy. Lifelink. Attack. I miscounted my mana. Sages for Dages. Oh. Okay. So if I pay 2, I can untap that. I can hit that guy. Pay 2 for that. Pay 1 for a road. Pay 2, I've got 1 mana remaining. 1 mana doesn't get me nothing. So what I'll do is I will practice offense. Target myself. Target this guy. Doing lifelink again. Attack with these two. Can't risk the Interceptor or I'm dead. Untap. And during your upkeep, I'm gonna pop your Sage. And back to you. They are riddling. In combat ways to buff. You have 3 mana. Answer is no. Okay. We'll play the Shepherd out, I guess. Go get a Plains. Play said Plains. Play this guy out. I imagine I get eroded and cooked. Nope. We're shepherding for full value. Mr. Tapper. Is that a good game? Yeah, premature. Still alive, my friend. Yeah. It's all good. Didn't attack. Well, you had me dead there, so. Probably woulda. Wait a moment. Hold. Interesting. Okay. Let's draw a few more cards. A whole set of Riddlers have come out. Thanks. Want to flicker this guy? And now I've got enough life that I am allowed to attack. So, and then I will play this guy. and turn. You've got an interceptor. Sure. More sages. Sages for dages. Can't free attack anymore. Can't attack. End turn. Draw a card. Well, I'm getting closer to things I can use. We're just gonna make the messiest board in the world, and they're gonna keep buffing their dudes up with Cosmogrand. Sure would have been nice to have those Cosmogrands in a board like this, but I think I had lethal ages ago and then just haven't executed on it. Let's have that guy. Send one in. He's got a lot of flyers. Even if I block, I don't think it'll matter. Assuming I blocked big guy. Biggest one I can. It's probably going to be 3, 6, 9. I'm not dead yet. So I guess during your upkeep, I'll get rid of this Cosmogrand. Gross, but okay. Still managed to +1/+1 all those dudes. Less than ideal. Okay, well. Five out of 7. That's 10 in the air. 18. Yeah, I don't concede. Whatever. I don't want to do this now. It's fine. You got me. Eroding's only okay against them, and they got that other card. Diversion unit seems okay. The ever elusive offense really cooked me. Then going up on diversion units to mess with their stuff and TAMs. Yes, Kurt. I do for you, buddy. Light stalls don't do too much, especially with all the Sage of the Skies. Let's see here. I think I'll cut a Starfield Shepherd. And I have yet to see an Erode. So I'll just go to 2 of those. Let's play first. The fuck is this hand? Sleep deprived Necro. If I keep this. I think I still maul. Yeah. Oh boy. Well. I think we'll keep this, throw these 2 away. Pray I draw a blue source. So that or I go to 4, which, while still doable, not ideal. Alright, we'll just throw in. Sometimes you gotta throw. Quantum Riddler. Daydream. Oh. I guess we'll just patiently watch as they build up their board. Yeah, I had a higher curve build of this deck with Sage of the Skies and Cosmogram, but I kept getting run over, but seems to be doing well for them. Alright. Good game. See you guys in the next round. Alright, everybody, welcome to round 2, where I have the bye. So, we'll watch somebody else play Magic instead. We've got Cowboy Spaceman versus Brazon. They seem to be steamrolling them as the other board is completely stuck on lands. Looks like there's some sort of prowess deck with a Molten Core Maestro caught under a seam rip. And yeah, Necro is just, or Cowboy is popping off dump spells into play. Going for a tablet. What's under the tablet? Tablet, it's a shock. You can kill the interceptor, I guess. Rose a potential card draw from the field. Impatient tapping, been there. Slam, slam. So at least you'll get to see what a likely better version of my deck looks like. So the content is somewhat aligned. I don't know how to get the rest of this Discord crap off the screen, but you're gonna have to bear with me. Daydream, Starfield stays in play. Hunting down again. Womp womp. More seam rips. Good game. Man, they blow up. Oh. I hate it. I hate it when people do this. Why do people do this every single time? They say good game and they don't concede. It's like the meta. Good game keeps playing. Is that a alternate art negate in their sideboard? Looks kind of like it. So they can go higher on their build with Elspeth. Let's see, they've got 13 lands, 19, 23. Okay, 23. Are they main decking Aetherize? It's madness. Momoless Momo, that's what they call this. Gotcha. Boarded in a single spell pierce. Well, that's pretty good at dealing with the majority of the threats that the other side will put out, because they only put out a couple creatures and then they're usually cooked. You got a Quantum Riddler. Yeah, I'd keep that. The downside is you're giving them a bajillion mana, which they want for casting out their big spells. I'm not sure if they're on Traumatic Critique, but Sonar. Probably wouldn't be eroding that. Oh, Bounce Off is pretty good. Yeah. Just blinking in the Shepherd. What are we gonna get? One drop or plains? Plains. Wants to keep hitting land drops. Okay. Away it goes. Back to the opponent. We've got Sonar in play. You want to attack? No, probably not. Just ending. You're not going to be practiced offensing. I mean, you could in order to get it in the graveyard, but I wouldn't. Maybe you can you even? Does it require 2 targets? You might not even be able to cast it, yeah. What are you sandbagging? You're at the end of the turn, so. Okay, there's the critique. Pretty good. Draw some cards, do some filtering, get a treasure. I think this is the horse breeders list, which is what they call playing Colorstone Stallion into casting five drops. Throws down a treasure. Alright, you got 5 mana. Just stocking up. I mean, if your opponent doesn't have pressure, it's not a bad strategy. You just keep acquiring cards, collecting treasures. I know Cowboy here doesn't want to do anything too crazy. Oh, shocking the steam vents, but not using it. Maybe to keep themselves open with a counterspell or something. Well, they're probably going to make a Sage of the Skies play. Probably. I can see Bounce Off play Sage of the Skies myself, just to put some threats into play. It also doesn't let them just get a free card off their Sonar. They'll have to work a little harder for it. I'm not sure how much Bounce Off will have utility outside of containing Maestros later, but looks like they want to maintain the control plan. which I'm sure Brazen is more than happy to allow them to keep doing because they can just keep acquiring resources without deploying threats necessarily, unless they have too many cards in hand. And even once they do, if all they do is catch a bunch of erodes, yeah. This is the problem playing patient. But all those erodes will give them even more resources, so things are slipping away rapidly for Cowboy, I feel. Unless, of course, they can establish the board wide and don't get affected, but yeah, Brazen just has an embarrassment of riches right now, and yeah. Yeah, Sonar's already given them a permanent mana and 3 more mana. It seems more than worth it, and eaten a removal spell, so it's an amazing exchange for Brazen. Now they don't have anything good to chain into, yeah. Sage the Skies, which is why I would have bounced off last turn, probably. You're getting cooked, my friend. Do you have enough to breed some horses? You do. But why bother when you can just keep accruing resources? Yeah. Go get a freebie. Oh no. That should just about do it. You're not upset, Brazen. Don't pretend like you are. You're doing fine. The only way this pans out is if he can get multiple sages in play and starts cosmogranding them, but I feel that's going to be too little, too late. Yeah, because you could still cast a 5-drop right here. Yeah. Game's over. He sees it. Doesn't matter if he had the horse. He could, yeah. I'm not sure about the lines Necro was taking. Yeah, he's just waiting. Get no reason to play it out. Yep, Brazen's absolutely correct. I wouldn't have run it out either. He had no pressure on him. And he doesn't need the horse to win. He doesn't. Can just critique you out. I'm not sure if he's running flashback. I'm not sure I would either if I'm running improvisation capstone, but it's actually not that bad with it. But actually, improvisation capstone with the traumatic critique, it's also not that bad for an expo. At least draws you some cards. That's a hand. Yeah. His hand's better. Not incredible, but it's better. Ditching Halia. Okay, I guess. Alright. Another low pressure hand. Oh, Daydream that yeah. Flick of the Daydream. Hey, look at me. We got there. Assuming the opponent doesn't have a counter spell, we'll see. The drop in Sonar. Alright, well, it's going to be pretty okay. Now, the opponent might have some bounce spells, but if they're just relying on damage. Okay, Cosmogrand. We're starting to get some value. Whatever that furry stuff means. Oh, missed a land drop. Well, that's not good. Not good at all. I think you want to keep that negate up just in case. Yep, that's what I would do. Another shotgun. Uh-oh. Brazen is getting mollywopped. You're within a stone's throw of being double struck to death. Oh, you're dead. You're dead. Yeah, might as well hit it. Oh, offensive good game. No. No, he can still have he can still have bounce off. Oh. Oh, that would have been so funny, but good game. At least I'll be playing in the final round. Take care. Cheers. Alright, welcome to round 3 where I'm able to play again. I'll choose to play first. We have 2 pieces of Voltron, but I can never hit the third. But I'll still keep. Hello! Let's see what Zanus has cooked up today. I'm going to put this in play tapped. Blue-red stuff. Put this into play tapped again because I'm not putting Halia into play. 2 mana, and it is there. Okay. So I get to replay what I saw happened last match, but now I get to try. With a probably worse deck. What fun. So I've got 4 pieces of interaction. Yeah, just bounce it. Yep. Makes sense. Let's see. How do I want to do this? We'll put a land into play. Let's put Halia into play proper. Then we'll drum. And then I'll light stall. Getting the free card. I think we got an ice there, I wasn't paying attention. Alright, light stall is dead. Maestro's almost generate 1,000,000 mana time. Oh. Did X is equal to 0? Okay. Strange. Flow state. Well. That's at the scary size now. I'm gonna put a land down. That's whenever, if 5 or more mana was spent to cast a spell. A little spooky. Attack, attack. Do I just want to give it to them for free? Or do I want to try to hold them under a diversion unit? I think I want to try to hold them under a diversion unit, maybe. Put this into play. Warp a Riddler. Oh, I can just daydream, sure. White. Submit. Daydream. Hit this guy. Bang bang. And then I can play this out and they might not know that I can use it. End the turn. Draw a card, draw a card. That's fine. Draw your cards. Not even mad. That one I'll hit, I guess. And let's try this again. 1, 2. White. Target this guy. Submit. Daydream. Let's hit this guy. Other one's in play. Draw another one. There's the offense. Perfect. In that case, I'm gonna cast this. Hit another card in their hand. Not that it matters that much. Random land. Put an interceptor into play. Put an interceptor into play. Back to you. Well, they can probably make a bajillion mana and do that, or concede. 6 mana looping thing. So they do have the bounce for my guy. Voice of Victory is pretty good. Kind of like the idea of TAM, because it shuts off interaction. Diversion unit is decent. Practiced offense. I need creatures in play to do it, but they're not really trying to do that. They're trying to go over me. I don't think light stalls do that much. Voice of Victory is probably fine, but gets eaten by a lot of things. TAM is only half effective. Maybe I remove one of those. They're kind of like all spells. They gotta be going for big spells, right? But Diversion unit puts... Yeah, it's the only X equal to 1 to hit with their charm. Oh no. Oh no, we'll try this. I don't want to think about it. I didn't think too hard about this sideboard. They're on the play. Let's see what I get in my hand. Drum, Riddler, 2 colors of mana. Oh my god, we've got it. We hit Voltron. Play the drum out. Tap your mana, please. Play something. Now this doesn't mean... No, I don't have Voltron, because I needed the 3rd card. Damn it! Damn it. Reading OP. Okay, so if I put Halia out, I can then tap Halia for mana. And then I've got 2, and that's 2 triggers, which doesn't do anything. So what I can do is pay 2 life, put this into play. At least I had the dream of drawing into Voltron. So, it's nice to think about, I guess. Fire Slinger. Not interested in attacking. Gotcha. Okay. If I put Halia into play, one, 2, play the land. Halia, Shepherd. Gain 3, that counts for something. Autopay, this guy. Give me the land. Not attacking. So yeah, they're the Storm deck or whatever it is. They're literally going all in on humongous spells. Which inclines me to board in the 4th diversion unit, yeah. So if I can cut off the blue from Rapturous Moments, then they won't be able to keep going. Or just force them to kill the diversion units, which I suppose that's in the name. That's not good. Okay. Well, I'm a stone's throw from death. So let's definitely eroding that. I guess I will riddle my timbers. Damn, huh? Not terrible, I guess. I mean, I don't think I can beat a 1,000-Year Storm, but especially if I'm giving them mana. You never know. Do you find literally any other spell to just end me? That's pretty close. I mean, even a burst lightning here would be lethal. Somehow didn't do that. White. Tap. Okay. Still doing it. And then I'm probably dead 8 ways to Sunday. Sure. Seems excessive, but okay. Oh. Do I just win then? That goes to 6. That goes to 7, 14. Double strike. Lifelink. Well, I'm gonna force you to block. So that's lethal. So that's 14 in the air. 15, 16. So you have to block at least one of these. Wait, 14, 15, 16. Oh, you have to block them both. Mandatory. Then you can loot the living shit out of me. But your guys are dead. You're not dead. I mean, I don't see what's in your hand, but you're not dead. Come on, Sasha. You got this. Zanis. Block what you can. It's the only plays you can make. Oh no, you're just conceding. Oh well. GG. Another time, my friend. Alright. See you guys in the postmortem. Alright, welcome to the postmortem. This was a relatively short tournament, only 8 players in the event. To explain what happened to my opponent last round, at the very end there, they had an improvisation capstone in their hand, so they could still potentially win. I honestly thought they had a decent out, but Reno was bugging out and preventing them from being able to block, which is very unfortunate. Bugs do happen, but because they were under the tournament timer, there's just nothing that they could do. I'm not even sure they could like quit out and come back in and make anything meaningful happen. So not the nicest way to take a win. I was really interested to see where else they were gonna go, but you know, is what it is. So we get a soft 2-1, playing only 2 matches this round, with one of them being the bye. So what do I think about this deck? If I literally ever get this 4-card combo called Daydream, Springleaf Drum, Riddler, and a blue source, we're good to go. This is bonkers. It's almost never gonna happen though, it feels like. I've yet to see it in testing. Many times I've thought, oh, I've got everything I need, but no, I have 2 pieces and not 3. So I have yet to ever turn to Riddler, but maybe having that just as a possibility rather than a primary game plan is the way to go, and just, you know, instead of being so aggressively tuned into like the Halia plays, especially because I cut a Halia, so like even voice is good at like protecting what we're doing, but voice doesn't do much else on our side of the field. Maybe going up in the mana cost, kind of like Cowboy Spaceman was doing, and you know, building the board out wider with still the explosive possibility of Drum, Riddler, Daydream, because they were also on Drum. So as it turns out, I'm not even the first to be on the technology. And as I mentioned, I was inspired by a modern content creator, Aspiring Spike. So this deck is far from original. Lightstall Inquisitor and Diversion Units, both of these cards are not particularly exciting, so maybe that's 5 cards we can play with. Practiced Offense is pretty good. Voice of Victory is also maybe just a sideboard card. I'm not 100% sure. Starfield Shepherd might be worth more weight than I'm giving it, and should up it to 4. That way I can keep the mana base more trim and just use it to get extra planes. But yeah, I'm not sure. This deck definitely needs work in order to be better, but the potential is absolutely there. Including that one insane game where I had 4 Quantum Riddlers in play and I would draw 1 card and then get 5. It was nuts. But yeah, Tam, I managed to put her in play a few times, but didn't really do much. But I think there is potential for this card. I think it being green matters a lot less than it being blue. So I think there's like, if you're a blue deck that has creatures in play that you're trying to protect, this might have a decent amount of value. I'm not sure about like an elementals list, but I know if you're like fighting against deceits, this is a pretty good way of preventing them from bouncing your creature and eating it, essentially. So there's all sorts of value. So I think this card is better than it looks, especially when you can tap to target any creature, so it's just a persistent Mother of Runes. But the fact that this is a passive, I think has value in a blue-white deck, because like a lot of the premier targeted removal spells in the format are white. But maybe you can play this in the blue-red list, because there's still a decent amount of burn spells. Requiting Hex is a card, so maybe blue-black, although being heavy on creatures in blue-black seems bizarre. I don't know. And then even just playing this for the Mother of Runes half as well, instead of just worrying, like, I think it loses a lot of value if you're not relying heavily on the passive, because waiting for a Grizzly Bear that's legendary to untap is not the boldest of strategies, but I don't know. Mother of Runes was a good card back in the day, so it's not quite Mother of Runes, but it's the best we can do in Standard, or Planar Standard for that matter. So I think this card's got potential. That's all I'm trying to meander and say. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What could I change in this list? What could I do better? What could I do worse? Or just say something arbitrary. All right. Now let's get into some comments. All right, and comments from the last video from my monthly deck that made a top 8. You know, a standard format is healthy when Gelta is playable. Yeah, that is an interesting way to look at the format. I am happy to see more mid-range stompy cards be playable instead of just spamming things go wide, void, opponent's dead instantly, and other nonsense that's going on with Standard that I can't keep up with. Apparently a lot of them are Izzet decks, and I do love me an Izzet deck, but there is an upper band in which I'd be willing to tolerate. Anthony Lovato says, I love a big green boys deck. Yeah, I've got another one on the channel if you want to check that out. That one's more using Harmonizer to try to double up power. Although that's pretty similar to the main landfall combo that would be from Standard, just with a weaker card pool that we've got here. Maybe I'll swing around and revisit that list now that we've got a couple more tools in the basket to use. And then Snuggles, the champion of the tournament. They said, sorry I ended your undefeated run. It was a fun match. The Encounterable Lumbering World Wagon Game 1 completely destroyed me. And yeah, I'm actually considering upping the amount of world wagons in this list. That card was overperforming. I also found that Garak's Uprising, although while good, not as insane as I thought it could be. Although there was that super grindy matchup where I had nothing going on and I was just using it and wistfulness to draw my way out of a hole. So yeah, there's something there. Also, Sylvan Scavenging, although it was insane in testing, it didn't like it was still a good build around towards trying to reach during the gameplay, during the tournament, but it wasn't as crazy as it was in testing. But maybe because I didn't have a lot of it on turn two as I did in testing, which was pretty lucky. Either way, that's been the video for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.